you're going to get dreams. One of you, I'm sorry to say, is likely not to get the one they expect. Who wants to go first?
Heck, I volunteer as tribute.
Okay,
I assume
well,
I'm
this is
the one
Min.
that not dreaming.
No, unfortunately, you had the power to stay awake, and so...
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, no dream for you this night.
Not yet.
What will or may happen is yet to be discovered.
We'll see.
Alright then, and we'll be starting off with Min. Here's a question. Would you like to do this here or in the private?
Oh. I think here's fine.
Alright. And with that, as you are plunged into darkness after a loud, wailing, unsettling scream, you find yourself snapped open, eyes wide awake. You are floating in the abyss. There's nothing in front of you, around you. And it's an odd feeling because as you move around, it feels heavy. Almost. Air is almost condensed, almost physical. You can feel it more, not just on a windy day when it would blow one way, but every way. You can feel it trying to almost pressure you. But you can resist it, just barely. Anything you'd like to do?
Well, if I'm awake in this heavy abyss, I guess I'll try to turn. Turn and
You do, and when
see
you
if
do,
there is anything.
you can do so, and that's when you notice that while you can see nothing but this abyss, it does feel almost like you're in water, like that same feeling of floating, but there's no give, like when you're in water, when you start to sink or float, and you feel yourself breathing. But that almost feeling of semi-weightlessness. And you can spin, you can move freely, it's just, you feel like it's slower, it takes effort.
Yeah. Then maybe I'll call out. Hello? Is anyone there?
No response.
Okay. Well, if I don't have a response, but there's nothing but this weightlessness, can I try to walk? And if I start walking, will anything happen?
As soon
Now
as
that
you
I'm kind of
start
floating.
to try and walk, is there anything you're specifically imagining looking on?
I suppose my companions.
You begin to walk on your companions. Just so I know if I heard this right.
Oh no! What I'm walking on?
Yes.
Oh.
Are you so the many companions start forming at your feet, and you just walk over them.
No, I guess I misheard you. I the forest ground where we were, walking on that.
And as you do so, the ground beneath you seems to appear. The leaves, trees, slight edges of the rocks signaling that you are in fact in the rockier terrain of the forest. There is no one around you. Sounds, the wind, the smell, everything that should be there is not. You can only feel the dirt beneath the ground.
And I guess I have to imagine my way out of this scenario.
Start overthinking.
Yeah, start overthinking. Then I guess I'll start imagining the way back to the giant manor we were at, Mr. Red's headquarters. All the while calling out the Kaylin and Leah's names.
As you start walking forward and you begin to remember a bit more of the path you took, you start to see a few more bits and pieces of the familiar architecture, before eventually you come to a large stone gate with glowing rings.
She'll breathe a sigh of relief and go to walk inside the house.
As soon as you try and step past the threshold of the stone arch that would lead there, the runes flash a brilliant and bright green glow. And you are thrust back with an immense force. And that's also when you notice that you yourself have begun to fade, almost appearing corporeal, immaterial, almost like a ghost.
Ooh. Where am I? What is this?
Your surroundings start to flicker, and with every time you blink your eyes, it switches from the forest you were at to the house you were staying in, to the mountainous regions that you saw at a distance while on your way to the valley where the ritual began, to the smaller alcoves of the forest beginning. Looking around you, you can see the town you left from, New Serene, right there, the ports, the seas, everything there. You blink again and you're back on the ship that brought you here. You're trying to remember. This is all just going back for some reason, just through your own memories. So eventually you find yourself back the day before everything went wrong for you, back at the palace.
Oh dear.
Now you find yourself back there. You're still incorporeal, and it's almost as if you're watching the events play out again. Smaller clips of the events, no longer in a sequential order, just one event, then another, then another. All the decisions that led you to where you are now, from having to leave, all the choices, what benefits you gained, the consequences and the repercussions that were suffered. And eventually, darkness takes you.
Oh.
And it's at that point that you begin to wake up.
And upon waking up and opening my eyes, what do I really see now?
See yourself on the ground right where you were amidst the battle against this ghostly guardian with your newly found comrades in this odd little job you signed yourself up for. The massive guardian walking towards your few of your fallen companions as you look around, as he is the only one left standing. No one else seemed to have withstood whatever it was that knocked you out. And it's at that point we're going to pause and we're going to jump over to our next comatose victim.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
It sure is.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Kaylin is definitely a puppy dog snoring.
Oh.
She did. She fell down, and it was weird because it wasn't so much as a knockout impact. It was almost like a gentle knockout. Like you just everything went black for you in your mind, but your body slowly fell, halfway catching yourself before you just collapsed, and almost recluded into yourself. And when you open your eyes, and you also once again begin to see there is nothing. There's black void around you, but it's not unfamiliar, and there seems to be an out of focus surrounding you. You can see things, but nothing's in focus. You're not sure what's around you, but you know something is there.
When I try to focus on like a single aspect of anything, does anything come to focus?
What are you looking for first? And is there anything that you are trying to imagine, or are you just trying to see what's out there?
I'm trying to see if I could figure out where I am. So looking for any bits of scenery, buildings, familiar paths or streets.
Roll me a d20.
$13.
13, let's see. And you find yourself in a place you've only heard of, you've not yet traveled. It's a bit inward. It lies a bit deeper into the island, into the mountains. It's called Dorgrad, or the Heart's Gates. It's a smallish valley that leads into the inner sanctuary of the island. It's how it got its names of the Doors of the Heart, sometimes. And supposedly it is the location of one of the hidden villages, specifically the village location of Del Dorha and Gondor. It's where the village chiefs meet on summons from the High King, or if a new High King is required to be selected. And while you never really paid much attention to these, you'd know that of all the chiefs for each of the villages of the natives that surround and live in this island, there is one that governs them all. It's a chief chosen among all others to make decisions and lead the islanders as a whole. Usually in a time of great desperation, strife, or some other unknown challenge. They're always elected by the council of chiefs themselves and crowned High King. The last High King has been in rule for quite a few years now, but he is getting very, very close to passing, and eventually a new High King must be elected, so there will likely be another gathering likely within a few weeks of his confirmed passing and proper send-off.
Does it feel like I belong there, or am I intruding upon this area?
No, this place, it feels like a place that you have memories of walking this place, but you know you've never done it. Memories of where to go to avoid certain monsters, where to go if you want to test yourself against them, how to arrive there safely if you wanted, or a place with paths that give you more of a challenge. This is a place you would know or have a memory of going to, but never entering. You would always stay at the very edges of the doors, but never once do you have any feeling of entering yourself. Not yet.
And as I walk around this area, do I see any other figures here?
No, at the moment it is empty. But the closer you get to the center, the more the climate begins to change, and the deeper into the valley you begin to go, and the hotter and the brighter the central light gets as the massive volcano at the center of the island, where this valley eventually leads to, often called to at the very edge is the Doors of Renewal, is where the High King is said to resign.
I am going to keep walking towards the Doors of Renewal. And I'm going to try and see if I can find the current High King.
Alright, make me a quick nature survival check, your choice.
That would be an 18 survival.
And with that, you're able to make your way across. It's a long and rather difficult journey, as it seems to have a few winds, ends, but eventually you do find yourself at a massive door, seemed to have carved out of stone, wood, and root. At the base of it there seems to be a spiraled pattern of stones with an altar and a small sand chalice in the center.
I am going to try and open the door.
You try and go in front of the massive doors. We're talking 30-foot doors, roughly in half. Nothing's attaching them but the vines on the side. How do you try to open these doors?
I am going to try and push them open with my whole 11 strength.
Okay, roll me a strength.
Four.
And as you try your best to, you pushing out or pulling in?
Pushing in.
And you just keep trying as hard as you can. There's no change, not even as much as a budge.
Do I have my lyre with me?
You check, and it is there with you. All your things are with you. You just didn't notice them until now.
I want to try and cast Stone Shape on the door.
All right, go ahead and roll me a quick Arcana.
You said Arcana?
Yes, Arcana or Nature as you attempt to cast this spell.
Two. I rolled a 1 + 1. Were you able to hear my roll, Siler?
Yes. Sorry, I was replying to something.
No worries, no worries.
Alright then, and with that, you're able to see that as you're trying to shape the stone itself, there seems to be something keeping the stone from becoming malleable, as you know you've done before. As you can see, this entire area seems to be strongly fused with magic. Something about it specifically made to not be altered or damaged, at least not without something immensely.
She is going to pout a little bit that it didn't work, but then get the brilliant idea to just try and knock on the door.
And you try and you knock, and again, only sound and your hand hurts a bit.
Yes, it's not time for me to come here yet. Maybe. And she's going to turn and start walking away from the door.
Cool, and as you turn to start walking away, you pass by the, like I said, this entire floor is a really nice stone. At the center of that stone is a large little platform with a sand bowl that you also pass by, and you can start making your way out. Actually, wait, what, can you give me what was your passive perception?
17.
Oh wow, that's higher than I thought. I gotta recheck on that later. But as you pass this bowl, you can see there are script and etchings around it that seem to utter specific phrases, calling this the door of renewal, and that specific keys are required to enter it, and that only the High King or those with his blessing may enter.
Does it say anything about the keys or where to find them?
No, only that the two are required.
She will pull out her journal and start writing that in. And then keep walking.
Alright, as you walk out, walking away, past, and this is quite a journey you've taken, so nothing has gotten really in your way. This is there's a good few miles of terrain you have to walk. A few slopes, up and down, little jagged paths, a few valleys, trees that eventually come to what looks like a giant valley, and at the bottom of it, that's where the entrance that you just came out of was. And you essentially just kept going down, further down, before you got to these doors. It took you a while, but you are back at the entrance, at the beginning of the heart. And as soon as you step out and finally reach the end, right where everything begins to look like the sun is barely breaking in the sky about to set, you see the guardian you've helped free. And they are standing at the edge. They seem to be waiting.
Kaylin will smile at the familiar face and rush over to him.
And he will take a knee, so he's even at a knee, you still have you still got to look up to him, because even at a knee, you're still a few feet shorter.
She will hurry over to him, and as he's taken a knee, she will smile and say, "Do you know what's going on and what happened? Yeah, just what happened."
And you can see him just reaching forth, and there's no words, there's just the feeling of concern and confusion as he too is looking around here in almost awe at what's happening, what's being shown, as the scenery around you is again beginning to take shape, and a few different places are beginning to flash around you. Some you recognize. There's the town of New Serene that you just came from. There is the store village, the shore of the Tall Bones that has been hunting whales for a few years off the right coast of right off the on the left side of New Serene. There it is. It's called Glendon Gallinoan, and it is famous for its massive, rather large scattering of white pillars from the many bones of the whales that it has harvested throughout the years. Following that, there's the Redwood. There's the village of the Singing Water, home to one of the, if not the strongest healer of the island. There's also an odd town you've never met before, people with strange clothes that seem to be settlers. A few you've seen in New Serene, but not as many as this, with odd wrappings around their heads, strange armor and odd contraptions that they seem to be trying to barter and trade. Another place where there are individuals, women with large, almost draped dresses, men with strange hats and odd vestments, with a sun ablaze in almost every corner of the street, and each person seems to be wearing at least one of them as well. And there's also the Blacklands, where one of the earlier villages, one of the most historical on your island, as it is said to be one of the first 5 villages built in New Serene. And then it all reverts back to where you just were. The tree that was cursed by the stones and the chains that you shattered, the friend that you've just released, the balance that you've just helped restore. And there's this immense weight as faces begin to appear on every surface you look. A face seems to almost contort and take shape, and they all begin to speak at once, as they seem to call out and say, The work has not yet finished. The tests will only continue. Will you take them?
She'll look around at all of the faces and then look back towards where her guardian was and then nod her head kind of solemnly.
Then be ready. The journey will be long. And it's at that moment you realize that this is one of the oldest stories that you were told as a native of this island. The visions and the voices you just heard belong to, and I'm sorry I had to look through my notes, but this is the God of 1,000 Faces, the one and only God of this island for the natives. And it's said that he has only ever appeared or communicated this directly with the people of the island when great misfortune or a massive calamity is soon approaching and is attempting to prepare the people to withstand and survive or raise up and fight. It's never clear which it will.
With that realization, I think she looks a bit more serious and stares back at her guardian. It's the right thing to do, right?
He nods and says, to preserve the balance, to ensure our survival. We must prepare.
Okay. Let's do that then.
And with that, he places a hand on the top of your head, and you, again, everything fades to black before you wake up in the position you described yourself in at the beginning. And I guess got a roll for the other people who were also down to see how well their dreams went. Okay, cool. So Mr. Green just wakes up, stretches, almost like a cat, if you've ever, seen. Damn, I'm blanking on it so hard right now from Netflix. Dreamland, there it is. Essentially that little devil. But unfortunately, Mr. Blue wakes up almost in a panic and is already drawing his weapon. Looks like he's ready to. Looks like he's ready for a fight. Mr. Brown, on the other hand, he wakes up muddled, almost sluggish, almost like you'd almost compare it to a drunkard who just finished a long night at the tavern. Seems barely able to keep on his feet, but slowly and surely he is getting back his. And last but not least, welcome back. Oof, Mr. Red is not doing great. Alright, but now more or less everyone else seems to be awake. Mr. Red seems to be out cold. Mr. Purple has just popped up out of a shadow to the left of the Guardian. Seems to be looking around. and Mr. Black, and yeah, you guys are up on the cliff. So who does what?
How much time has passed between them falling asleep and then waking up?
Not a lot. Roughly the time it took for the conversation that happened on the cliff before it went down, and
Okay.
they essentially all went down, and the only one left up there was the guardian who went to approach Killing first.
Can Leah like grab Mr. Red like bride carry and like can I use like a tree on the cliff to like rappel down with the tattoo?
Yeah, make me a quick. Let's say for this one, yeah. Let's make it an acrobatics. An acrobatics check, because you can find a few, like a rock or a tree or something to like, hoist something to start rappelling down.
Yeah. You said acrobatics?
Yeah, this one will be acrobatics.
Okay. 19.
19, no problem. You're gonna over the shoulder fireman carry, or you're gonna princess carry? How you want to take Mr. Red down the
since she needs a hand free, she will like over the shoulder, like toss him over the shoulder, and I assume Mr. Black, like he already headed back down, so it's
no, he was there trying to tend to him. You just kind of picked him up, over the shouldered him, and proceeded to go regroup. I'm assuming.
I won't like interrupt. Like I'll kind of like check in with Mr. Black. It's like, is he good to move, or do we need to keep him?
Yeah, it just gives you a quick look of nothing physical seems to be wrong with him. I don't see any wounds that seem to be too life-threatening. Just the bumps and bruises he got from whatever happened before we got here.
If he's stable, then let's check in with the others. I'll carry him down the cliff. I'll meet you down there.
Gives you a quick hoot, and he just kind of just jumps off and glides down because he can do that.
He can do that, but not while carrying people.
I mean,
not easily.
That would have to check because.
I mean, maybe if he did it with his talon feet.
Yeah, like his taloned feet might be able to do it, but that's risk on his own. Those things look pretty sharp.
Yeah, not the most.
If he'd been a monk, those feet would be deadly.
Deadly as hell. But no, yeah, I will rappel down with Mr. Red and join them in the clearing. And probably they're waking up. Maybe they even wake up before she gets back there. I don't know.
All right, but everyone else down on the ground is awake now, a little groggy. Some didn't have a great little, power nap of a few, like it was maybe a minute or two, roughly. Mm-hmm. But you guys are back up. What would you like to do?
Min is instantly going to shoot up and start brushing her dress off and picking up her things wherever they've fallen.
Easy enough to do. And you also notice that, like last time, Mr. Brown is also not so much patting himself down as he's just fiddling with one of the accessories he carries on him before he just gets instantaneously cleaned and does offer to do the same. Magic, man.
Magic.
Oh dear, oh my goodness. It's quite enough of that.
What? Yeah, is Leah like entering back into the area at this point, or is it still going to be a moment?
I think they have a second or two, but they can see that you're rappelling down and about to join them again in a second or two.
Yeah.
I've had quite enough of this. Mr. Red?
He's not there.
Oh. Right.
I'm carrying.
Unconscious
Well, he is
on
unconscious.
Right.
yeah, he's unconscious on the shoulder being brought in, but you can definitely look around for the other person
Yeah.
part of the
You see
group who
him.
seem to be in charge, because Mr. Purple is there standing in the shadow of the Guardian, and he just seems to be walking towards the obelisk.
Well, then Min is just going to sort of like poke Mr. Red with her foot, and then just
Still
to
not
all
there.
he's not there. I thought he said he was on the ground.
Leah is carrying him from the cliff.
Oh,
So he's
strong
currently
girl.
on his on her shoulder.
He's about to
Okay.
join you guys, so he'll be there. He'll be there like in a quick second. If there's anything
Okay.
else anyone else wants to do up, Mr. Purple is in fact going over to touch the obelisk. Keelan, you're up. Mr. Green, Mr. Red are up. Mr. Brown is up and just helped Ming. Ming, you're also up. The Guardian is also up.
Galen is looking between the rest of the party and the Guardian, and then she slowly starts to pinch her cheeks. Real? And then she looks towards the Guardian. Was that real?
He gives a subtle tapping of his massive staff before putting his hand on his heart and then pointing toward, like a slow gesture to the trees around you before he essentially gestures to the massive volcano.
She'll nod her head in understanding, and then look towards the rest of the party. Did everyone else have the same dream?
It depends. Did you dream about going back home and realizing that this entire trip was a complete mistake?
No. Was
Well,
that
then we must have dreamt different things.
What happened just now? What happened down here? I assume Leah is back around this time, or is this still?
Yes, Leah, you are now entering with the unconscious Mr. Red at your shoulder. Mr. Black has, he flew in and he just looked over everyone to see if everyone was okay, but doesn't look like no one's too hurt. Mr. Green and Mr. Blue asked, well, you'd know if you were here what happened to him.
Just one thing at a time. We, kind of gesturing to Mr. Black and myself, we got up there and found that apparently he was, and, well, him, kind of gesturing off towards Mr. Purple, in the shadows, where the two of them were under attack, and we helped defend them, but he was not kind of gesturing to, Mr. Red as she's, pulling him off her shoulder, and kind of placing him on the ground. He wasn't doing so well, and, got knocked unconscious. Remind me, actually, was it the spell that knocked him unconscious, or was it, he just got
It was
hit?
that loud, unknown screeching that almost, did you in as well as Mr. Black, but you guys were able to withstand it. You're not sure what exactly it was, but it knocked him out cold.
Yeah, I'll describe that terrible screeching noise, and he was out cold, and after a brief and fruitless, well, not very productive discussion with his attacker, one of them died, but two of them seemed to leave after that noise. I haven't gotten any answers on what they were doing here or exactly what their motives are, but they're still out there. So, long story short, I don't know what was going on, which is frustrating. And I'm sorry, I gotta go dip again. I will be listening in, but sorry.
All right.
Okay.
We're assuming she's putting on her brooding, thinking face.
Yep.
She's trying to put the puzzle together. Conspiracy board and everything.
Mhm.
Okay, anyone else? Anything you'd like to ask, talk about? There's an unconscious Mr. Red. Someone can pimp slap awake if they so choose.
Oh, I'm going for it. Gonna poke him repeatedly.
And with anything in particular, how painful, how persistent, how annoying is this?
It's pretty pokey. I mean, she's got a nice set of nails, so she's gonna just poke him. I think in the chest. Pretty hard.
That makes sense. Trying to think, what would you roll for poking someone awake? Just roll me a d20. Flat d20.
Okay. Alright, flat d20. 2.
And you're there for a good few seconds. Anyone else want to help out with this? You also do see that the Guardian seems to have turned and gone over to where Mr. Red is, as he seems to be fiddling with the obelisk. As you can see that the tree that seems to be also moving around, reshaping.
Kaylin will leave Min to do insect things and go and check on the rest of the party. So Mr. Brown, Mr. Blue, and make sure that they are okay.
Mr. Brown, let's see how well he's doing. Oh, that's a natural one. So he looks bad, like just got off a bad roller coaster bad. So it's not so much physical damage as it is just not having a good time with that last. Yeah, but he is wobbling a bit and he's trying to keep himself upright, but in the end he just gives up and just takes a seat on the ground and tries to steady himself. Pulls out a small bag of vials and he starts going through them looking for a particular one. And takes a quick swig of an odd orange and yellow liquid.
Kaylin will pull out her water skin and kind of rip off a small bit of fabric and get it wet and then hand it over to him. Put this on the back of your neck. It tends to help you feel better.
Nice. You hear him actually like stretch out his neck and it cracks audibly. Before he does fiddle with a few other things on his opposite wrist, and the cloth that you just tore where he tore it from seems to grow back and mend as he takes the one that you offered him. Appreciate it. It's just I don't know what that last thing was, but damn, it knocked you out so hard. Oof.
Did you also have a weird dream while you were out?
Saw a few places I've been to. Saw home. Saw a couple people I didn't want to deal with just because I knew it would be a headache, even though we were thinking of building something interesting. But then I saw more pictures of what we were thinking of building, and I don't know. Started to think it might be worth it to just deal with them than any of this. No offense, big guy. He looks at the Guardian. But I don't think I'm
Kaylin will smile. Well, it's only you that can decide how to end your story. Whether it's with us or with what you want to do. That'll be up to you.
I guess that's more or less goes for now anyway. You can see him trying to like stretch out, and every time he finds a new piece that hurts or something that's just not there right, he just keeps trying to outmaneuver or re-stretch.
If you need it, the trees, they're great for leverage.
No need. I got something. I already took something for that. I just gotta. And you see him take out a small looking, looks like a cylinder, before it eventually clicks it and just starts unfolding. And now it just looks like a small cane, or it unfolds again. And now it looks like it's cane with two ends, and he bends it. And then it unfolds again, and it looks almost like a crutch, except when he pulls himself up with it, it almost seems to attach to the side of his body and to one of his legs. Yeah, I think I'm good.
Kaylin looks fascinated by this, but smiles regardless. Okay, I am gonna go check on the others. And then just gonna continue her rounds on to Mr. Blue, I believe was next.
Alright, you see Mr. Blue as he seems to be trying his best to catch his breath. He's not stopped clutching his sword with both his hands. Shield still out the side, but seems to be almost like that 1,000-yard stare that just hasn't gone away yet, while Mr. Green seems to be seems to be setting up a sign, almost waiting for him to snap out of it, I guess.
Back again. Sorry.
Welcome.
Sorry, I thought.
Did you discover anything? Brain blast?
I mean, I'm just gonna roll
Still
an
thinking.
intelligence check. Yes, with that roll of a 9, I've discovered everything. No.
Alright, so you know exactly who that woman was that, fought against Mr. Red.
Do I? I got a +1.
You can certainly guess.
I can certainly guess. Fair enough. I also hadn't thought about making a joke. I'm not gonna joke. You can keep going. Sorry.
This is just their exes. This is all just one big spat over a bad breakup, guys. This will
Knew
blow
it.
over in a month.
Yep.
Then inadvertently ended with people dying or somebody dying. Dead souls.
Yeah, no, they can't decide who gets what of the stuff they used to do because they had the same job and they did it together, but now they're splitting up and trying to do it separately, and it's just not working.
That's why you don't mix relationships in business. It just ends in disaster.
If it ends badly, it ends really bad. But if it works, it works.
Yeah. Anyway, you can keep going with the check-ins with everybody.
All right. Anyone else? Any other check-ins or anything you're doing now that you've seen that Mr. Blue is in that little? He's slowly coming out of that 1,000-yard stare. Mr. Green is just kind of there, waiting for him to get out of it, taking a small swig of his little flask, and you're not sure where he pulled out that sandwich, but he's slowly taking a bite out of it.
Nope, just fussing and picking up my things and still trying to wake up Mr. Red.
You know what? Out of curiosity, I am going to, now that we have taken damage, I'm going to finish the rest of that healing potion drink that's probably just a mixed drink that tastes like a healing potion.
Go ahead.
I pull it out and I go and down it.
Alrighty then, roll me a standard healing potion.
Oh. Is it going to be in damage? Is it just 1d4 plus 4? Is it
It's
1d? No, it's 2d4 plus 2, right?
Yeah, 2d4 plus 2. Yeah, that's the standard one.
If I'm using my action for this, would I still need a roll?
No, if you choose to use your action for this, you can absorb all. Just take the max.
Sure. Nice. So they are.
That's one of my rules for that one. You can bonus action if you choose, but then you got to roll, and you might get good, you might get bad.
Might get not as great. Okay. You know, I'll I mean, I assume we're probably going to take a rest, but still, pretty good. 10 plus healing. Leah made. Nobody's like brutally injured at the moment, right? Nobody's like on the.
I think so.
Not at the moment. A lot of things happened that prevented a lot of the bad combatic stuff.
It's more emotional damage. It seems like.
I mean, that and Mr. Purple really did his job, because that big guy could have really fucked shit up if he was attacking anyone else.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he did attack. Other people just lucked out.
He did, but you had like a healer at your back, which is a good thing, because if both of those attacks were headed towards you,
I mean, even though I didn't get the other effect, I still took a decent amount of damage from those hits. So
yeah. Like here's the thing:
that
he was doing that one-handed the whole time, like with a glaive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it could have been worse.
I do want to ask Mr. Gray. Is Mr. Blue going to be okay?
He'll snap out of it in a minute, and he'll be fine. It happens, on occasion. Something knocks him out. Sometimes he'll wake up fine. Sometimes he'll wake up ready to start swinging. I give him like 5 feet, and a minute, he'll be fine.
So this is normal for him?
Normal's not really an often used word with us, but this is standard for him for right now until he gets over this.
She'll look a little troubled, and then she's gonna walk over to him and place her hands over his where he's holding his sword.
Leah will kind of.
No, sorry. This would be a quick persuasion at disadvantage.
I think Leah's like examining kind of some other stuff, but she kind of gives a side eye to that. It's like, I don't know if that's a good approach, but we'll see on that.
Persuasion. I rolled a 5, but I have a plus 10, so 15.
That's a pretty good bonus.
Disadvantage? That's pretty good.
Yeah, my other roll was a 15, so that would have been a 25.
Oh, that would have been way, way better. Now, let's see. Hey, my shitty rolls are helping out. That was a 3, so for a second it looked like he wanted to do something until he focused in and saw that it was you, and everything else seems to slowly come into focus for him. And you see him slowly start to look around, and his hand goes a bit slack, and his sword does finally hit the ground. And he does ask, Did we win?
Yeah, we did.
That's good. That's good, right?
I think so, yeah.
Is it?
Just looking around for Mr. Green, and and he just looks around and just starts, with a hushed whisper, starts whispering something in Celestial. And Mr. Red gives him, Mr. Green gives him the dirtiest look and just spits back in Infernal. before he just like goes back on his shoulder and just gives him like a small ear tug. You fucking talk to me like that.
You dare speak the language of my cultural enemies?
Galen will smile again because they're back to their normal banter.
You know that shit sounds like nails on a chalkboard to me. And no, you didn't hurt anybody.
And then Galen will make her way over to Min, who I'm assuming is still trying to wake up Mr. Red.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming so. Not having great luck, she's trying to do politely but firmly trying to say, excuse me. Just that whole fingernail point thing just on the chest, I guess. Not really doing much.
Mm-hmm. Okay, finally, what is a bitch slap gonna do?
Depends who makes it and what they roll on that strength check.
I will do the bitch slap. I will deliver it.
Yeah, Leah, I think she's trying to like get the story of like what happened down here. But no, yeah, I'm in just going from poking to just more aggressive wake up tactics. It's funny.
How loudly are you trying to get the attention of, or how loudly are you doing this wake up tactic?
A nat 20. Seriously, I'm going out with a bang on this woman.
Like to wake him up, or what was this for?
To wake him up, the strength check to slap him.
All right, and then oh my god, where do you slap him exactly?
Is it across the face?
There is a noticeable blemish, and a little bit of blood starts coming out of his mouth, and he is still out cold.
Leah has like a single laugh, and like she catches herself.
And Min she'll be like, oh, sorry, and then like heal him, and then just walk away.
With that loud of a commotion, that will draw the attention of Mr. Purple, who will see what's happening. And look, who's closest? Like out of all of you, double checking.
To who?
To Mr. Purple. He's over there with the Guardian. He seems to be doing something to the obelisk.
I'd say Leah probably is keeping an eye on what he's doing. Actually, can I make a perception check to see what he may be doing?
You can go ahead and try that.
As part of her contemplation.
18 total.
18 total. With this, you can see it's an odd because he seems to be going over all of the glyphs and the carvings into the obelisk. You're not sure if there's an order that he's going in or if there's something he's looking for, but he seems to be very thorough in like checking that everything, like running his hands across a few of them, taking down a few notes, and just almost like he's going down a list of what's there, what's not, if anything's damaged or anything's missing. There's no way of knowing exactly what it is.
Does it look like he may be comparing, not just like taking down the notes, but like also comparing between like past notes that were already in there?
It's possible, but you're not, can't really see that. But you can definitely know he's definitely immersed in this enough until he's distracted by that sound, at which point you will catch his eye and see that he's still down there. He'll give a small, like, his shoulders will sag for a second until he gives you a very distinct sign with his hand, essentially making the horns gesture, then taking one of his hands and essentially wrapping it around his finger and twisting.
Like a broken horn? Like that's kind of what.
Like he's telling you to buy the horns.
Oh, like grab it by the horns? Like that sort of like a gesture communicating.
Something like that. It seems to be the gesture more or less, but it's only there for a second before he goes back to whatever he's doing.
Can I maybe roll something to see if Leah would? Leah.
Feel free. This is Leah.
Could I like roll to like interpret, like maybe insight of like interpreting like what he's meaning by that?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. 14?
All right, 14 with that. You just got the fact that he gestured horn, grab, and then he just started. Didn't give the immediate opposite of like a break, but he just gave the curling of the hand like a twist. So whether that means you're supposed to try and like grab him by the horn to get him awake, or break off, or just, that alone is what's supposed to do it. You're not sure. Maybe he's just making fun of you.
Maybe I just need to beat the shit out of his boss. Is that what he's telling me to do? Leah can say
Maybe he could just be using you to, not get his own hands dirty.
Maybe. He's telling me what he's doing. Leah kind of contemplates for a moment, and I think she's going to make her way a bit closer to check in more specifically with what he's doing. What he's communicating.
So you're going to approach?
Yes. Slowly, not trying to like sneak up on him. And the Guardian's over here as well. Is he examining the Guardian?
Yeah, no, the Guardian,
the gate?
He's not examining the gate at all. He's just looking around at the obelisk, checking his small notes on his little book thing real quick. He seems to be jotting down a few things. But he seems to be roughly like halfway of finished going around the obelisk. There's not like a lot of small writing. It's mostly larger symbols and interconnecting glyphs that you see mostly here, but nothing that you are familiar with.
Magic bullshit.
Magic bullshit, and the worst part is, this is magic bullshit of another like language, culture, possibly another type, so it's even more bullshit.
Yeah. Leah will kind of question, and I'm sorry, I think I may have interrupted something that may have been going on with Min or Caitlin. But Leah will kind of ask, you don't seem to be too concerned with the state your boss is in. Is this the real priority?
I've done my job. He knows his, and if he wants to sleep through it, that's on him.
Seems to be fast asleep. Well, that's what we call it.
Just twist the horn.
Twist the horn. Oh. I think I see what you mean. We can get to that in a moment. This obelisk is why you're really here. This information.
No response. Just keeps going around.
The power over death like this is not something to be trifled with, but I'm sure you're already aware.
Still no response. This guy is nuts.
Can I roll an insight to see whether he's like just being stoic, but he is like listening, or if he's just like, I do not care, shut up?
Feel free, yeah. Roll that just to see what's up.
15.
With this, you can tell this is the type of person, you've met a few of them before, where they're the kind that can get really psyched into their work, and unless something, you've had to do this a few times before, like make the intent to draw a weapon or make an actual surprised face or a very loud or disconcerting sound or something happen for them to snap out of it. Otherwise, they will likely be engrossed in whatever activity they're doing. They're really good for, getting things done, researching, or not being distracted, but they are shit conversationalists.
Okay. Leah, let me actually check it real quick. Okay. Leah is going to... Actually, let me check something else. Right, she went with that. Leah is going to just kind of like walk around the obelisk and this tree, kind of, and then loop back. But she's going to kind of look it over, not probably understanding these runes, but she is going to visibly observe them.
Yeah, no, you do, and you can see that they're a bit odd, they're a bit strange. You could definitely, I mean, he's not stopping you from taking your own notes or trying to copy them down or anything. So if you really wanted to, you could make yourself a copy of what you think you see or what what you can draw them to look like, depending on how well you do it.
Yeah. Would it be like something relatively quick that she could do to like stencil, like take some pages from like one of her books and like use like some charcoal that she probably has on hand and like
you can, but
like
you did maybe like half to a third of a symbol. These things, like I said, it's not a lot of symbols, but it's just a bunch of massive symbols.
Yeah, I guess no, it's probably a big obelisk. How big is this obelisk, out of curiosity?
It's bigger than the Guardian.
Okay, bigger than the Guardian. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But it's also
even
slowly
if it's
beginning to sink into the ground. This was covered by the tree, and it was only like just under the Guardian. But like when the tree went out and became the giant archway, the stone obelisk, that's when essentially it finished popping out and essentially was free.
Okay, I didn't realize it was sinking back into the ground.
It seems to be going back to original height, but that's why he came back here and started at the bottom and slowly worked his way up.
Yeah, she will take a similar tactic and start taking notes of like probably fairly crude because she doesn't actually understand like the meanings, but she will try to copy down the
All right. Are these going to be notes like a detailed like description of what you see, what happened? Or are you trying to mimic the symbols around the glyph itself, the obelisk itself?
Yeah, I mean, she'll probably add in like near it like a description, like more general description, but she is going to try and copy the glyphs. And probably
for that, just give me a straight dex check.
Dex?
And for the notes, it'll just be a straight intelligence.
Okay. So a dex and an intelligence check? Just separately?
Yep.
Alright. The dex? Woo! That's a 23 on that dex check.
Nice! That's what you do.
The intelligence? Woo-hoo-hoo! It's an 18.
Alright, and with this, you got yourself what you believe to be some decent notes for like your first time at some new stuff, but you did pretty good for this. Both the description of what you saw and what you saw happen for the best of from like your perspective, as well as you might throw in a few theories on what actually happened and the weirdness that you've seen. And you're not magical, like you're not trained in any of this stuff, but you've heard enough of it and seen enough of it to know the bullshittery terms and stuff.
She probably had some rudimentary information, like a crash course in like what to look out for with like runes, probably more in the land that she came from, but she it's trying to transit like someone's like, okay, yeah, make sure to note this and this down properly. It's different.
The important stuff. This thing was sucking in souls, and they for some reason seemed to be cool with it. Some were not, but they were also getting sucked in, but they wanted to attack. And whatever this was, you heard something about it only happening at some point during, like, it's a once a month thing.
Okay. So how would you say I should note this down? Like in my notes.
I put this as notes of hold on, just to double check, because we can just use the name of the place and just be easy.
Yeah, like the obelisk at this location or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the Vendeville, which is inhabited. Yeah, so you can just put good notes of the obelisk at the Swamp of 1,000 Lives.
Okay. Okay, she will be noting that down. I assume that's going to take a minute.
It will, yeah, you'll be here for a good minute or two finishing jotting this stuff down. In, roughly at the time you finish is when Mr. Purple also finishes. Going back with Mr. Red, anyone else doing anything after that epic bitch slap from Ming? That was just beautifully done.
Nope. Was gonna approach, no longer am.
Yeah, he's out cold.
That, or there's a way to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Leah didn't share that.
Did not.
Min, are you?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just wondering if you were okay, but I guess not.
And Min will she will aggressively cup Kaylin's face. My dear sweet Kaylin, I have gone to the wilderness. I have fought some great and terrible thing. I need to get back to civilization. This whole fighting creatures in the wilderness thing is not for me. I just want to go home, or at least start my shop, and I need my payment. I'm afraid I would like to bid you all adieu.
No, I understand, and she's gonna try and wiggle out of her grasp, and then walk over to Mr. Red, and she's gonna start trying to look through his pockets to find any sort of money.
She's also not staying for payment. She's just like, I'm out, I'm done.
No, she said
she wants the payment. She wants her payment, but she does want immediately out.
Right.
Mr. Brown will actually walk up with this new odd-looking set of crutches and just say, "Look, I got a place. Easiest place to set up shop is Hickman. If you're just trying to gather up some cash to make your way home, the North's there, pretty decent to haggle with."
Not home.
Yeah,
then
no, I think
at least start
civilization.
my own shop.
Oh no, people start shops there all the time. If you've got something good that people actually need, you'll never be out of business.
Well, I have things that everyone needs. So I'm
Beauty
confident in that
supply.
at least.
And then you'll be golden. Just gotta make our way out of here and get payment.
Indeed.
Do I find anything in his pockets?
Yeah, where do you look first? There are a few places. The pants seem to have some pockets in them. The jacket that seem to have some pockets in them. The nice little blouse that he's wearing underneath has some pockets in them. And you notice that there is a small satchel that he had hidden beneath the overcoat that was behind him, that is now poking at the side as well.
Or do you check the pocket on his birthday suit?
I will not check there. Listen, the payment is in there. Man, you're going without. I don't know what to tell you. She will probably check the satchel first, then jacket, pants, and then blouse in that order.
Okay. And every one of those doesn't look like there's anything in there but your hand all the way down to the elbow. But you're reaching in there, you're not feeling anything. What do you do?
I think she's like mumbling to herself, like, "Come on, anything gold, anything gold." And if she can't find anything in the pockets or the satchel, does he have anything golden on him, like jewelry, a chain?
He does have a few odds, ends, rings, like a chain or two as well as that's adorning him, and a gold pocket watch as well. That seems to not tell time, but has something else in it.
She's gonna try and gather all of that up. And then
All right.
give that to Min. I wasn't able to find the coins that you guys typically use, but you could probably get something for all of this.
That's so very kind of you. Thank you, Kaylin. And she'll just hold these things and clutched it in her hand. Like, I really shouldn't take these, but I'm just gonna hold them for the moment. As she just like kind of looks around aimlessly for the gentleman of this group to lead us out of here, or otherwise.
Escort us out, please.
Yeah, no, Mr. Purple is just about ready to finish up the obelisk that he was joined in with Leah.
If the two of them are finishing, are the two of them wrapping up and heading back over to the rest of the group, or are they?
Indeed.
Yeah,
Then
Kaylin
you
is
also
immediately
notice that
leaving.
As soon as soon as they're finished doing that and the obelisk finished sinking, he does gesture at you to give it some space, because the tree that's been growing behind it seems to begin to grow around it again, like it was before, but this time it's clearly visible in the base of the tree, no longer engulfing it.
Okay. As they're walking back to the rest of the group, Leah's going to ask Mr. Purple, "Do you mind if I get this one? I kind of want to give your tip a try." I'm sure you can understand he's been leading us around on certain things, so...
Do as you wish, but if he holds a grudge, well, you are warned. And he just walks away.
I'll be gentle. Yet Leah is kind of walking through the group over to Mr. Red, and she's gonna kind of give a nod to Kaylin and Min, kind of like, "You two doing all right?"
Kaylin is scurrying back to the garden, where she feels safe.
Oh. Okay, and she's gone. Min, how are you doing?
I twitch.
Okay. All right. Leah is going to kind of walk over behind Mr. Red and kind of like above his head, and she's just going to kind of reach down, grab him by the horn, and give it just a little twist. Not like trying to like yank it like super hard, just like...
What do you think? Are you trying to bend it so it breaks, or are you trying to twist it like if you're twisting someone's arm?
Like twisting a doorknob, about that level. Maybe a little bit.
Okay, with that, he does eyes immediately pop open, and he just immediately he's moving as best he can to try to unfold that twist, and you can very audibly hear that scream.
No, I will kind of quickly after let go and let him kind of adjust.
God damn it, woman! Oh God, that's worse than nipples.
Hey, you should have seen how vigorously we were trying to wake you up. Looking back over it, Min.
God. He's looking around until he sees the back of Mr. Purple slowly walking away. All right.
That could have gone.
And he just looks around. Job done, everyone! Congratulations! He's trying his best to put back on that showmanship, but there is no flair to this man anymore. He is bleeding from the mouth. He has a very visible bruise going on the left side of his cheek, and he is missing all of his jewelry, chains, rings. That shit is gone and is currently in Ming's hand. He doesn't seem to give a shit at the moment. He is currently limping to catch up to Mr. Purple as he's trying his best to gesture to all you guys to follow.
I would like to follow.
I'm rendezvous back at the camp to settle up.
Leah is going to kind of turn to Kaylin. What is she doing at this moment?
She is back at her guardian. She's going to ask if the guardian is coming with them.
And he will shake his head no.
Leah paces over. Really good deal. She's going to make her way over towards Kaylin.
Yeah, no, I understand. You had a purpose here. Will you be okay if I go with them?
Gives you a nod.
Do you have a name?
Oh, I'm fighting every impulse to call him Groot.
Yes.
I am Tree. Oh, Treebeard? Treebeard? Does he have a beard? He probably doesn't have a beard.
And you just hear a name in your head just calls out Angdrig. Andrig.
She will reach out and touch him again, similarly to the way that she first did at the very beginning of all this. And she will start saying another soft little prayer of protection over him.
And you see him almost beginning to mimic the same as his own hand kind of goes over you. And there's this odd bit of shrubbery that seems to cover his hand before a small, almost like a circlet of trees and a few branches and twigs seem to almost come out of his hand before he does place it on your head.
She will smile and let him know if anything else happens, or if you fall into any sort of danger again, I'll come find you.
And then he just points at the circlet, and then he just gestures with his hand to that is like his own head to grab it.
She'll reach up and touch the circlet.
As soon as you do, you can instantly feel the same connection you had the first time you were near him, but with this version you can tell that he's no longer bound or chained. With this, you think as long as you have this, and while it begins to flee, you can sense that it's not there, but it'll recharge. Once a day, you're essentially able to check up on him, and he, with this, can send you any updates if anything were to go wrong again. It's a once a day kind of walkie-talkie.
She will beam up at the Guardian. I'll keep this safe. Promise.
He essentially just gave you communicate via plants inside this little round, like daisy chain.
Huh? Leah is kind of observing this interaction. Is this happening in the language that the two of you now share?
For the most part of it, the Guardian hasn't talked. She's said a few words. I don't know if it was in that language or not.
It would probably be in Druidic as she's talking to him.
Yeah, regardless, Leah's just kind of observing this interaction from a couple paces back behind Kaylin.
It isn't long after she gets to the ground that Caitlin will turn and be almost a little surprised to see Leah there. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you guys waiting for me?
It's all right. We should check in with them, but you seem... Well, are you all right?
She'll think about it for a second before she enthusiastically nods her head. I think I have a really great story now.
Leah has a small chuckle. You have something you need to do, don't you?
Yes.
He's a spy.
Are you going to be traveling with them once again? Or are you going to go elsewhere?
I think I will go with you guys at least until camp, and then I need to head to, well, and she'll point over to the volcano in the center of the island.
I think I understand. Is it all right with you if I join you for that? It's a bit of an odd request, and I understand if this is something you need to do yourself, but...
She looks genuinely shocked for a few seconds before she snaps back into her reality. No, please, I would love company. Only if you want to.
It's a bit of an odd request, but I suppose I can share more on this later if... Oh, I'm sure you would love it to hear any story, but the long and short of it is I've been restless since I've been here, and I've been trying to find things to fill that restlessness, but this may be something that I can help with, and you may end up helping me as well.
Well, hopefully preventing a large-scale calamity might help that restlessness.
Leah, pauses for a moment, as that had not gotten brought up.
Nope, and then she's just gonna smile and start walking towards the rest of the group.
Leah is in stunned silence for a moment, looking back over towards the Guardian. Does the Guardian react at all? Probably not.
Nope. He actually started the area, just going around looking. That's about it.
Leah will kind of stare off towards the mountain in the center of the island, that volcano, and just kind of chuckle. Huh. How about that? And then also turn to join the rest of the group. Catch up with them.
All right. And with that, you begin your journey to the exactly the way you came. Takes you a bit to get back to the small encampment where the destroyed little building house that you guys stayed in last time.
Any
And it's at
other
that
camp?
point that
Sorry.
it's at that point that you see Mr. Red and Mr. Purple begin talking, and he just goes back and said, "All right, now have you all decided on the payment? I think it best we get that out of the way before we head back into the city, as we will need to hit up camp soon before our full day back, just so you all have what you need and can be on your way to whatever destination you may like."
Do we have an option of perhaps mixing our payments? A bit of one method and a bit of another?
You can, assuming I may have what you need and that you've earned it.
I would like a portion of my payment in finances. She kind of says, rubbing her fingers together in the sense of money, and the remainder in a favor at some point.
This can be done, but understand if you're taking, let's say, 50-50 split on this, you'll be owed a favor, but it will be within reason. But I can certainly assure you most things are within our reason.
And perhaps the money portion, the favor could be for the general job, and the monetary portion could be in lieu of coming to your assistance when you were being laid out flat several times. I'll add.
Yeah, I don't pay people I don't hire. And that's not what I've hired you for. Lesson learned.
Oh, you see. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the word you retort.
Yeah, no, this guy is not.
It's frugal.
Yeah, no. He's not. In no way a good guy.
I already have my payment.
I know what I
Wow.
would like.
Wonderful.
I would like money, please, and thank you.
Have you
all
noticed
right.
his jewelry's all gone?
You're not sure.
Where's my shit?
He is like he's more than once. As he has a look at himself how bad he is, and he's prestidigitation like himself and mended most of his clothing and stuff, but he hasn't said anything about the jewelry, oddly, and it's not.
Yeah.
I don't. Is Min still holding them out like in her hands, or she put it away?
Yeah, she's gonna hand them to him. And I believe that these are yours.
Oh,
Please, I
thank
just want my
goodness.
monetary payment.
And he just slowly starts putting it all back on, and just complete. It will be, and you acquire it only in monetary. No favors for later, or any such negotiation. Just monetary only.
Money, and if you can help me find a shop in town where I can get myself started, I would much appreciate that.
I know a place. And he turns to Mr. Brown. Think you know the same one. And I believe I have favor with your neighbor.
Neighbor?
Let me write that down. And I think we can certainly work this out. Mr. Brown, I assume you still wish for the materials, components, and ingredients. Mr. Brown will nod. Mr. Black, I believe you said you still wanted the old tome and the notes. Excellent. And, right, you were also there coming to my aid. Thank you. No bonuses for that.
Thank you. No bonuses.
Alright then. And he just swerves over to you. You said you have your story, yes? Kevin?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So I was asking, he turned to you and like the last one said, you said you had your story, yes?
Yes.
Excellent. I would love to hear that over some tea tonight if possible. And let's just say we'll owe you a favor if and when you might need something, because friends do favors for friends.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Mr. Purple. Of course.
All right.
Alright, I will go in and fetch all your things before we can make camp and finish off the day on a positive note. I felt it's an oddly satisfying feeling when you sleep once you've held what you've covered or what you've earned. And with that, you see again the same portal appear behind him before he takes 2 steps back and just vanishes into it.
Oh,
And it's at this point that most of them seem to break off and make camp. Oh, I skipped one person, but you guys did in fact see a odd nod between Mr. Blue and Green when he looked over to ask them, and he just did a kind of a shush symbol, but he did give them a nod on what apparently was agreed on before.
They've reached an agreement.
Yep, and now everyone has begun to set up the camp as they did the last time we were here. And anyone gonna take watch, or who's helping set up, or are you guys just gonna sleep on the floor?
Are we not going? He's going into the portal to just hang out.
He's gone into the portal. No, he's going into the portal to get your guys' stuff to pay.
Right. Okay. But we ain't spending the night in there. I take it.
Not that you've been told.
Okay.
You also didn't see any place to actually do that. You just saw the library, the little stint office, and the place to eat.
Okay.
So you're not sure if that place has beds or you just didn't see them.
Yeah. May have his own special quarters. How is the weather looking? Is it looking like it's gonna rain or have some?
It's starting to look like it'll be a very starry sky and a very good overlap of the moon on this.
Leah is going to find a tree and kind of set up underneath, and she's going to set up so that she can sleep under the stars tonight.
Kaylin helps make camp.
Yeah.
I don't know how much help she really is, but she's definitely trying her best.
No problem.
Min will help where she can, but she's still going to be very fussy about it.
Alright, that's 2 people helping. And let's see, no one has offered to take up the old watch, so currently you guys are just...
Leah will offer to take a watch, regardless of whether that's
We'll
early,
be fine.
middle,
Who
or
needs a
late.
watch?
Now you guys seem to all be preparing and just ready to just get ready to lay down, go for the old
Also-
nap, and
Sorry. I love the image, the idea in my head of like Min, Kaylin, and like Mr. Brown or Mr. Black or somebody like that, all like working together to cook a meal, but like all of them like have different ideas. It's like,
oh yeah, no, all
you
of them
should be like adding in this
different dietaries, and they're making their own mini meals essentially. So no
Different
one's working together;
flavor profile.
they're just working in the same area.
Yeah.
Kaylin has no idea what half the things are, but it looks cool, so she's throwing them in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, surprisingly, Mr. Blue is actually pretty good at preparing and cooking stuff, but he's not, it doesn't look like he's used to like being the leader, so he's more just helping out people with their things, but not making anything himself.
Okay.
Woo!
And can I get everybody's passive perceptions real quick?
19.
I think for Min it was 14.
I thought it was 16 or 17. Pretty sure we all had some pretty good passive perceptions actually.
Yeah, no, this seems pretty decent for anything trying to look around and or you're noticing like the little shiny stuff.
Yeah.
All right, and as the night finally settles in and you guys finally get your meals ready, Mr. Red does eventually emerge from the portal, and he is carrying several satchels, and he does begin to hand them out.
Ooh.
And everybody gets a satchel. Even Mr. Green gets his own little satchel.
Oh.
Is it like, I mean, I guess we wouldn't necessarily know. Is it like smaller and like filled with less gold, or is it like smaller but has the same amount of gold?
It's
Magic.
just smaller, but you're not sure. No one here has yet opened them. But you've all been handed to them, and there is a small note attached to each of them, and says, "Here's your survival bonus. Keep the bag; it holds a lot."
Ah,
Survival
Nice.
bonus. Well then.
bag of holding.
You do indeed now each have a bag of holding,
Nice.
but you yourselves must investigate what lies within, and hope it does not bite you.
Oh.
I mean, I would assume not, but I guess we'll find out.
So roll that D100, and just so you know, one of those is a mimic. I'm joking. Maybe. Have fun.
I mean, do we need to roll a D100?
Not yet. I don't believe so.
I mean, you just said so I just want to check.
That sounds real confident.
Legitimate concern at this point. He may be holding a grudge. For what? I don't know. But he could.
Depends. Because, like, when you think about it, he did tell you he didn't exactly go that hard. He just did a normal doorknob twist that could have done a lot worse. And you also noticed his horns. There was a little give to them, so they weren't like solid ram's horns or like those giant buffalo or it. So there's some give to them, so that's likely why that woke him up instantly.
Why it's like uncomfortable. Yeah, I'd imagine if you did have horns, it would be uncomfortable to have them bent like that.
Yeah, no, there's a reason he screamed out, "Oh, that's worse than the nipple."
I should have just started by like just slightly poking it and see if that got a similar reaction. I don't know.
But yeah, and as you all there, you guys have actually I just got to roll for the last few. Jesus, everybody rolls good on the stuff that's not like combat or other stuff. So everybody here knows that there is what you think is probably just one of the wild animals, like just outside the camp, peering in because they likely smelled some of the food, but they haven't approached. And it's been like an hour. But you guys know that there's probably some kind of, maybe a cat, maybe something. It's a something in the woods. It's a something. Yeah, no, it's decently in the brush, but it's clearly there. But it's not. It's yet to make any moves. It's a clear something, but it hasn't bothered you, and you guys are there enjoying whatever meals you made for yourselves. You did, however, notice that the satchel that Mr. Red got for himself, and oddly enough, Mr. Purple, they literally just, I don't know if anyone's seen that show, they essentially just pulled out of like a pre-made meal on the inside and just a bottle of wine, and they're just essentially eating upstairs.
So they're having fine dining. They're treating themselves. Treat yourself.
Kinda, yeah.
Can
It would appear that Mr. Red kind of used the, he essentially has like a food court in his, whatever the hell that mansion was, so he apparently made use of it.
Yeah. I will check the bag. I don't know. Here we go.
Can I leave out a plate of food for whatever is out there?
You sure can. What exactly are you going to leave out for them, and how are you going to present it for them?
So I don't know what we made. I'm assuming it's not a
Okay, Mr. Black he literally just made a bunch of nuts and jerky, and then just there was a live small animal that he just ate whole. He's an owl.
Interesting.
He just like grabbed a squirrel and like scarfed it
Swallow it down.
He's just gonna cough it up in a bit.
In like a half hour, yeah.
So it's going to look like a very bad Thanksgiving plate with like everything that she could possibly find just kind of stacked on top of each other.
That makes sense. That sounds about right, yeah.
And then she's just going to leave it out a good distance away from the group, but close to
in the general direction of the
where
unknown.
I spotted.
Okay. So like good 30 feet away from it,
yeah.
But also 30 feet away from you guys.
Yeah, enough so that it knows that it's for it, but not close enough to where they'll have to meet the group or interact with the group if they don't want to.
All right, and you do that, and everyone else seems to be enjoying their meal for some reason, and I'm not sure if this has to do with the mood or anything. Mr. Blue and Mr. Green have taken to rotisserie style a nondescript animal that is now just a piece of meat on a bone. Mr. Brown's made himself a nice little stew that he offered to share with anyone who wanted. There's a nice bit of veggies and some meat in there. It smells nice, like old home-cooked meat.
Leah was going to chow down on some more just like travel rations, but if he is offering soup, Leah will
he is indeed
try a bowl of the soup.
Yeah, nice chunky, and it turns out to be chicken. Yeah, it turns out to be some chicken.
Chicken. I will say Leah probably does, just out of habit, do something, she knows, some spy trick to kind of like do like a light test, like make sure it's not poison, but I assume
it's not, but it's under seasoned, and he seems to have left those out on the side that anyone wants to, max it out to their own specifications. He's got a few different ones too, a little bit of spice, a little bit of pepper and salt, a little bit of something else he says is just flavoring.
I'm gonna be honest,
Pure
she
MSG.
she probably doesn't notice that it's under seasoned until like midway through, and then she kind of like just shrugs and keeps on eating. This is Good
Okay.
soup.
So does anyone take any of the seasoning? Just so I know.
Kaylin will take all of them.
Oh, great. And do you try a little bit of it before, like, just to see what the difference is, or just all of them on there?
All of it. If it's out, she's assuming it's good, so she's just gonna add it all to the soup.
Great. Did you try any of the soup beforehand, or is this like immediately when you first got the soup?
Immediately when I first got the soup.
Cool. This soup tastes like the most delicious thing you've ever had in terms of this kind of a soup, that you've had chicken before with some vegetables in different ways. You know, mix and match different fruits from different parts of the island, different pieces of meat and stuff. But this, for some reason, is just the best. And for the next hour, you have disadvantage on wisdom checks and wisdom savings.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
Kaylin's eyes will sparkle, and she will just start to gush about how this is the best soup that she's ever had in her entire life.
And he just gives you a thumbs up. Yeah. He doesn't. That is what he called the seasoning.
Dust of deliciousness, but it's just
the flavor is what he calls it.
Can I roll an Arcana check to see if Leah recognizes that a little bit?
Sure.
Because that I could very much see being used in Spycraft. That, with an Arcana of +1, that is a total of 6.
You think that might just be some, like, ground... Because you've heard of, like, some people in sessions before saying something about, like, specific herbs, like onion, and they've heard, like, weird terms like this dragon's rosemary, like this dying thyme, something about different kinds of, can't remember. Something about mixing these kind of garlics and some weird looking rhinestone looking like a flute that apparently you can dry and like turn into dust that apparently just gives flavor. This weird dirt, kind of a dirt mushroom that they call a truffle that people just seem to die over.
Some interesting...
Could be any one of those things, but
could be anything.
Probably nothing.
Opium. Maybe it's opium.
It could just be opium. It could be straight LSD. It could be something completely new that this madman has cooked up and he's not yet distributed. Who knows? But one of your party members seems to be enjoying it. All right. Anything else you guys would like to do while you're drinking up? Anyone? Any takers before we all hit the hay?
I think it's probably been a long in-game day, and
yep.
Leah's probably ready for some sleep. Contemplative rest.
All right, and as usual, you guys do see Mr. Purple doing the usual, like, weird night guard thing that he does, but, you know, he's just oddly just looking. He occasionally looks around, but for the most part, he looks like he's just looking at the sky, camping. He's on the roof of the building that you can clearly see, and he has no cover. If anything wanted to hit him or see him, he's gonna be spotted first. So any snipers around here, they're gonna headshot him first.
Nice.
But he does get a pretty decent view of the surrounding area, so give and take.
That'd be a pretty way to die. Oh, now I'm a little jealous because that would be a wonderful way of stargazing on a roof.
Oh yeah, that's probably what he's doing, and he's maybe not paying as much attention to the surroundings as you think with this really nice sky that you notice, because he's got a better vantage point than you, because this roof is a lot taller than the tree you got.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's not in a tree. She's just, kind of near a tree.
Oh, so like the base of the tree, like for a nice little, some cover at your back?
Yeah.
All right, then yeah, you got that. Anything's got to come at you from ahead or from above, and you can more or less deal with that.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right. And everyone else seems to be finishing up their own things. There was a bit of chatter, just the whole, can't believe this went so well, no one died. This is great. No one has yet opened their satchels, though. They seem to be working on the odd sense of honor system despite the
I did. Sorry,
proclivities of their client.
I think we moved on to other things, but I did want to open my satchel to see what was inside.
Cool. Are you doing this in private? Are you doing this in front of everybody?
Kind of off to the side, not like on my own, but in, kind of off to the side.
Cool. All right, you open it up, and it appears to be empty, but you are also given a note, suggesting there might be a little bit more to the satchel.
All right. Reach inside.
And your
Slowly.
hand just halfway into the bag begins to essentially disappear.
All right. Reaching around inside. Magic is weird. Are you checking on some stuff, or did you hear me?
No, I'm waiting for you to say what are you reaching in for, because you reach in, there's nothing there, but the way you remember these, you gotta think of what you want, unless you're trying to do like the reach at the bottom and upheave it, that you know you can do, but can get messy depending on what's could be inside.
So we gotta reach in for something specific, but we don't know what's inside. What did the note specifically say?
You were
again?
told specifically that the satchel was the bonus for surviving, and that your reward should be inside as requested. And you requested half of it as a favor and half of it is monetary, unless you change that.
I guess Leah thinks of, God, if I have to pull it out one gold piece at a time, that is going to be frustrating. I guess Leah imagines like a pouch of gold.
And you imagine a pouch of gold, and you can immediately feel your hand is surrounding the top of what you assume is a essentially a satchel of gold. Yeah, that's what you can essentially imagine. You try and you pull it out, and it is big, and it is essentially a giant dollar money bag sign. Big, and it is hefty.
Leah would kind of, I don't know if counting it is going to be very effective, but she's going to kind of like.
You can. I can tell you this right now. It will take you a few, like 2 or 3 hours to finish counting.
Okay.
This bag alone will get you an hour of just counting this out one by one, just because of how many seconds are in a minute and how many minutes are in an hour, and how long it's going to take you to realize you might need to do this in a bit of a strat. There's 1,000 gold in this particular.
Whew. Okay. Did it feel like that was like the only bag, or was there another bag as well?
That's up to you to check. You asked for a satchel of gold, and it gave you a satchel of gold. You don't know if that was all the gold.
Leo will reach in again and think of the satchel of gold again. Is this just like similar concept to that, like the like flasks that have booze in it? And it's like, yeah, no, you just pull out more and more gold whenever you want.
Who knows?
Maybe.
All right. And you again ask, imagine for another satchel of gold, and you do in fact pull out a satchel of gold. Question though, did you take the time to start counting out the other satchel, or did you stop at some point just after assuming it's just a lot of gold? Or did you actually confirm the number?
I guess if we're just killing time, I would I mean, if I'm doing like an hour, because that's gonna take.
if you try like as many times as you can to reach in for a satchel of gold, you're going to get 3 satchels, and this will take you roughly 2 hours. But you can count out the total of 3,000 gold.
Okay. All right. No, I will take the time to do that, and I assume if I like try reaching it a 4th time just to check, that would be
No satchel of gold.
Okay. That's pretty good. All right. She will kind of, before actually putting those back, she will kind of reach in and just think of like a reward and like just to check and try and see if there's anything else that may be in there.
Nothing when you think of reward. Nothing comes to... You don't feel anything in your hand.
Fairly abstract. Yeah, I don't know.
You pull out a small trophy.
Does it just create whatever, like 3 of whatever I can think of?
Who knows? You pull it out, the trophy says, try again.
It's just a
And then
trophy
it turns
that says
to
try
dust.
again, and a trophy that says try again and has like a statuette of a middle finger.
Like, no, it's just Mr. Red, but he's doing like the shrug.
Has it become dark yet?
Unless anyone else had anything to do, I think we're all heading for a night's rest.
I did want to check on the plate, see if it was eaten.
Not yet.
All right, you go and you check on the plate. Not yet.
Huh.
Also worth noting, should we just mark these down as full-size bag of holdings, or should we note them down that they're like smaller in any way?
These are smaller ones. I think they're the second smallest, but I gotta go look at the dimensions again, I might be wrong. But the opening for these is only 1 foot by 6 inch, like a square. So, but anything you can fit in there, you've got at least 5 by 5 feet of space.
Of space inside?
Yeah, of space inside this satchel.
Okay.
Oh, and interesting thing about this, if anyone asked, he would have told you, there's no weight limit, there's only a space limit.
Okay. Interesting.
He goes on to say like something about learning how to weave in a bit of magic that has to do with something about gravity and like nullifying or something. I don't know, it was Eggheads who did this, not me.
Eggheads do this stuff.
I gotta tell you, man, them magical, like, them wizard dudes, when they really put their mind to it.
They can do some real crazy stuff.
They can swap the normal thing out with something ridiculous by just like tweaking a little thing.
Yeah.
One of the guys was working on a cannon ring, like a cannon in a ring.
A cannon in a ring? We're using a ring.
Cannon in a ring. No, cannon in a ring. As soon as you need to like someone up, instead of taking a swing, you just point your fist out and bam, he gets hit with a cannon.
I imagine it's like launching a cannonball like a cannon, but I'm just imagining launching just
an actual cannon is just like he instead of taking a swing at the person, like you essentially present the ring, and the ring just materializes, like forces out a cannon out of eventually a bag of holding, but like at a pretty decent velocity. So he just gets smacked with a giant cannon.
Nice.
But yeah, I think if that's it.
I mean, I don't know if the others wanted to check what they have, but
None of the others, Mr. Brown, Black, Blue, or Green, have checked. Ming, don't think. Ming or Keelan, anything?
Nope. Snoozing.
Did Kaylin?
All right,
She
night
didn't get.
has fallen.
Kaylin didn't get a physical payment, but did she still get a bag of holding?
Oh, she did get a back holding, yes.
Okay. Neat.
All right, and with that, we're going to go over to our lurking unknown. What do they do?
Oh.
All right. Well, if the camp appears visibly asleep, she is going to creep out of the trees and start to walk around the camp, stepping around the people, looking at them, looking at their things and their packs, their fire.
Roll me a
Just
quick
walking
stealth
around.
check to see how well this goes.
Okay.
Who would be on watch at this point in time?
Currently, you guys have been, for the most part, relying on Mr. Purple.
Well,
Okay.
that's an 8.
Ooh.
Like, with bonuses and everything?
Yeah, that's with a +6 bonus.
Oh, okay. So while you're doing this, and while you're skulking about, the first thing you notice is that there are a pair of very discernible purple eyes looking directly at you from above on the roof.
Oh,
And while they don't seem to be doing anything, you can very much tell that they are watching. Anyone else? Roll me a quick Constitution check.
Constitution.
Ooh.
11.
Also an 11.
And can I get one for Min?
Does it help that I'm not
yeah.
really sleeping but in a trance?
9.
And oddly enough, you all sleep through this odd bit of skimpering and scattering, assuming it's just part of the wilderness that you are, in fact, surrounded by, with a few other odds and ends and noises that happen in this natural place. As our mystery visitor seems to, while she is aware that she is now being observed by an unknown up top, the individuals around her only seem to shift and move a bit before returning to their slumber.
Ah.
And she, noticing these purple eyes staring at her, her ears will lay back and she will step back a bit, but showing that her hands are open and that she is not bearing any weapons.
It's then that this odd figure kind of looks like he's about to walk forward, but immediately falls into his own shadow, provided by the moon that seems to be essentially was highlighting behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him very slowly emerge in front of you. And you get to see something that the others have not yet, because seems to have, now that the job is done and certain things have been put in play, seems to have swapped out a few of his things.
Oh.
And Mr. Purple has now slowly risen up, and this is what you see in front of you. Should be an NPC's in art.
Okay. Ooh.
Ah. Gothic.
Ooh. And looking at his strange armor, and swords, an overall rather ominous look, she will take another step back and another, slow, just keeping distance between her and him.
And that's when you will hear a voice in your head.
Ooh.
Why have you come here?
And she will glance around the camp, but answer. I wanted to see them. I wanted to know about them.
And then there's a separate voice as you see the blade that he has not in his hand, which is a smaller, sleek black blade, but the one behind him that seems to almost grow out of its sheath, a black onyx kind of obsidian crystal that seems to be behind it, massive, and the glass eye that seems to be almost alive begins to glow. And you hear another voice in your head, this one darker, more ominous.
You have beaten.
What? What was that?
Yeah, sorry, mic went off. There was a dark and rumbling saying, "You will be devoured."
Ugh. No.
And then as soon as that happens, you see with his other hand, he seems to grab the blade. Not like he's trying to draw it, but like he's grabbing it by the hilt. And he seems to just kind of like force it back down. And you can hear the sound of the blade itself, the obsidian, kind of cracking and breaking as he forces it down.
I don't understand. What are you doing here? In this island? By what magic you've put these things in my head?
The conversation is going to continue in your head, this time in the original voice. The other one seems to have, for the time being, receded. This manner of speaking grants us subtler conversation. As for what brought me here, request, favor, and a very, very old.
Weston, a very, very old.
And you hear him begin to pronounce an old name, and simply speaking it, making a quick history.
Sure. Okay, 17 plus... Ooh, 19.
Nice. And with this, you can hear him beginning to. He's currently attempting to pronounce one of the oldest and most difficult names, because in simply invoking it, there comes immense risk. Speaking the true name of the God of 1,000 Faces is an almost guaranteed way to get his attention, and depending on who this person is who invokes it, could be very, very dangerous if it's taken without care. That's why people have given him many names, or given him other kinds of other acronyms, or simply gestured as to the fact they are in fact the island itself and everywhere at once. But the oldest, the ancient, the original name still carries with it both power and the fear. Is more but once befell the island that was originally without this volcano at the center.
I don't know if you're cutting out, Siler, but I'm just hearing. I've heard something about this volcano in the center.
The volcano at the center of the island, the massive, ever active and glowing,
Mm-hmm.
was not always there. The oldest tellings of the island in the maps once advocate that there was once a massive lake in the center that is now replaced by this massive volcano.
Okay. Why are you telling me this?
You ask. I have asked. Why are you here? Specifically at night.
So I am not sure that I can trust you or any of these people who have come to my home.
You can't and you shouldn't, so you do not know any of these. He starts looking around. People. Trust is earned. Always earned. Never given.
Want to try to trust them. Understand them.
Then
I can not bear to see bloodshed.
bloodshed will happen regardless. It is the natural way of many things, but if you want to trust them, you must present them the opportunity. But do not gamble a great deal on this. Let it build first. This isn't the first time a native of this island was forced to take a leap of faith. Some were rewarded, others are sundered.
And I will take my chances. The good of my people.
As you
Surely
wish.
there must be some goodness here left. And she'll walk over to the plate of food that Aelin left for her. Pick it up and sniff it.
No, this is something you're familiar with what this is, just not the way it was made, and a few of the things they put in there you're not really familiar with, but it smells good.
Mm-hmm. And
Question, Keely, did you put any of that seasoning in there?
I sure did.
Well,
Oh,
it
no.
smells delicious. So, do with that what you will.
ooh. Well, this is like wonderfully spiced and flavorful. And
It's weird. The more you smell it, even if you haven't taken a taste, the better and more things you start identifying with just, oh, they worked this in and that in, and it works so great together, and it's really, your mouth is starting to water a little.
And as her mouth is starting to water, she will start to scoop up these different food items and try them. And her eyes will, like big kitty eyes, like big
All of them
dilated
are
pupils.
delicious. Like, it's almost to the point of like, if you've just given some catnip, but it's not just there yet, but it's getting close, and it's great.
And she will smile.
Yeah, the second also that you blinked and went for the food, the individual was gone from where you last saw him, and he look up and he is back up on that roof.
Ugh.
But you do
I don't like
notice
this guy.
that above the roof, There is a circular void of. There's a black sun on that roof, just a void of pure darkness, 30 by 30 feet.
Mm.
And that's what he dropped out of to sit back up on the roof, and then it disappeared.
So he's just hanging out up there, being creepy.
That tracks.
Just seems to be looking out and looking around before he just gives up, lays back, and looks at the stars.
Okay. Then she's going to keep half an eye on him and just continue to check out the camp. And she'll even stop and add a few logs to the fire, poke it, bring it up to where it's nice and warm for all those who are sleeping near it.
All right. Do you ever, at some point, take a rest yourself, or are you just staying through the night?
She will. She might allow herself to doze off, but she'll try to keep an ear open so that she will be aware of anything that comes along. But she's going to try to generally stay aware of what's happening throughout the night.
You're woken up twice, and both times you notice that once a creature was scared off, the second you could smell blood. And did you choose to investigate?
I don't think so. I think she's gonna stay put. She'll smell the blood,
Okay.
and she'll just consider that it's one of those nighttime creatures and let it be that for now.
Right. You will notice one thing, though. During the second incident where you could smell the blood, the mysterious individual on the roof disappeared for a little bit, but was back roughly within a minute. Once again, that odd sphere of darkness appeared again, like over the roof, roughly 10 feet before he dropped down from it.
He's a vampire or something. I don't know, but he's scary, like legitimately scary, and I don't like it.
Spooky.
Yeah. Just stay put there until morning.
Just like
All right,
next
and
to the plate that was left for you, or do you
the
move
next-
somewhere else?
Oh, the plate. She'll have eaten that clean and
Well,
set it next to Kaylin.
are you staying where the plate was, or like are you where?
Are you going back into like the tree line where you were to just chill, or are you staying in the actual camp?
I will stay in the camp. I will sit where the plate was
Ooh.
and just wait there.
All right.
Neat.
And will you take yourself a rest, or are you going to stay awake?
She'll rest, but she's going to try to be the first one awake in the camp.
Okay. I'm gonna roll a quick perception check for you because there's depending. Is anyone here trying to wake? Was anyone planning on waking up early, or they're just gonna let themselves rest until they didn't need anything?
Leah probably, would have stayed relatively on military time. Probably maybe like an hour-ish later. Relax. But I don't know if she's having any dreams or anything. I don't know if you had anything planned with that.
Not for this one.
Alright.
Although when we get into a specific piece of the story, she is going to be a bit.
Interesting.
That's what do I want. Okay, so you know how these guys, like some of them have like specific like tie-ins to this just because of their background?
Yeah.
Well, you actually have one once we get back into the city because of your connections and or resources and whatnot and stuff. So if you do check those, some interesting things have happened in the city while you've been gone for like 3 days. Interesting. Yeah, it turns out someone who knows who stirred up some trouble from another someone who was running a racket.
Interesting.
May have been using a silver coin to do their bidding.
Is this because of the coin she picked up? Like, or very early on? Wasn't that Mr. Red's? We'll get into that, I'm sure, later.
God, I immediately thought of Roya. Oh no.
It kind of, yeah, though, that maybe, because here's the thing. She's not dead, and she still has her thing that she needed to do, and you, when you picked up that coin, unintentionally may have, picked up a clue to that you can definitely, if you choose to, investigate that.
Oh boy. We'll get into that, because we don't know anything about that. This is all...
Eventually, once you guys have finished up, and hey, you guys got some spending money now, don't you? You can go buy stuff.
Let's not forget that we have this and actually buy some stuff.
Yeah.
That'll help.
Buy stuff, and the rest of you guys can check how much you've got that, like, walking around, your pants will jingle with change kind of money.
Kaylin has no need for money.
No, you've got something else, and this would be hilarious if and when you discover.
Ooh. We'll see whenever she feels like opening the bag. That'll be fun.
Indeed. It could be now, it could be at the campaign's ending.
Well, it's also
it's a food basket of like potions and helpful like items and tips that help you along the journey that's not over.
Yeah. She won't open it until after the big bad's defeated.
I just remembered we can just flip it inside out to like check all the inventory.
We can. That is like the best thing about the bag of holding to make sure it's good.
I guess probably shouldn't say that I did that before going to bed, so I'll probably just do that sometime like after waking up. Then we can get to that next session.
Definitely a place. Not a place to do it if like you're out in the wilderness or if you're going to make a mess of something. You don't want to accidentally spill bottles or stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It literally could just be those 3 bags and nothing else other than like anything else she may put in there. Or it could be like...
Or there could be like a live badger in there.
I mean, that's also another discussion of like how is this modified to be able to, because if it's a badger, it's probably not going to be a live one unless it was just put in.
Unless it's not a real badger, like living the way we think.
Magically enhanced.
Need
to breathe.
If it doesn't need to breathe, or if they gave it a way to breathe, because the thing is, it can't breathe because there's no air. What if they gave it a way to breathe? Or gave it air it could breathe in, like gave it a bubble?
Yeah, I gotta say, the funniest like workaround is like combining a bag of holding, somebody who's able to breathe in water either through a spell or just an ability, like breathe water, and then just filling up the bag of holding a little bit with water, and then just like laying down a puddle of water in a bag of holding to breathe in there.
Here's my question: wouldn't you get the same effects if you just made like the bucket helmet head, like the SpongeBob fishbowl on head thing when they visit Sandy?
Actually, no, that would be a good point. You could do that. Still, though,
store yourself in a vacuum.
So, question. I guess next morning, is our new friend still waiting out when everyone wakes up, or does she leave?
Everyone wakes up roughly around the same time. Do they see this mysterious person there?
Yes, they do.
All
we
right,
wanna
and
get
we
into
will have
that now?
everyone's
Okay.
reactions next time because it is getting late.
Aww.
Do
Dang
you
it.
want to just to leave it off like for today? Oh, did you already send the character art? Because I see that there's a note.
Yeah, character arc is there. This is what you guys all see when you first wake up. They have eaten
Neat.
and it is a cool looking person with some cool looking ears and eyes and a tail.
Neat.
And
Was
she's
that
just
something
sitting
you had-
there cross-legged with her hands open, showing that she has no weapons.
Was that something you had commissioned,
And
or was that something that you
No, no, actually,
No,
I do have my niece to be working on a proper commission because this isn't quite how
Oh.
I picture her.
yeah,
Neat.
it's a little different. It is cool though, and it's a set of there's a few more of these that have like pictures of animals drawn as humans.
Yeah, and kind of a Native American style.
It's really
Oh.
good.
Nice.
Oh, and you can also still see that Mr. Purple is in fact still up on the roof, and next to him, somehow he's worked a small rotisserie and a small fire up on the roof. There's a small, I don't remember how many of you have actually seen those monsters, the bear boars. There's one slowly being rotated and cooked on that fire, and he seems to be holding what looks like an arm of it as he's eating.
That's a lot of meat.
Amazing.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to be sharing.
Just gonna eat the whole thing himself.
Breakfast of champions. All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know if that second sound wasn't nice.
That very well would be it. Yeah.
Well, we'll get
Alright,
to
and
meet
with that-
you, friend, tomorrow or next week. Boo.
We do
Dang it.
indeed.
Now I gotta wait a whole week.
Yeah, sadly we didn't. I was honestly expecting you to barge in halfway through the conversation at like the
No, that's
obelisk.
just it. I wanted to try to find a proper moment.
Yeah.
Nah, at any time when you want to do it, like you break in like FBI through the ceiling, the roof, the door. You dig out from the ground if you have to. Arthur's.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm considering her character and what she's up to. I wanted to, make it true to character. So, and here we are.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Nice.
I honestly thought you were going to use the like you felt like the pulse and disturbance with the obelisk and everything, and you came here to check it out because that's never happened.
Hmm.
Maybe.
So as part of part of what you can do and what you are and what you know that something is definitely up and why there are a bunch of weird people here.
Hmm.
There's another person, they're native. What's up? What's the dealio? Why are there strangers
Exactly.
here?
We're gonna be best friends.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was thinking, and it still looks like it may go this way, but I was thinking it's like maybe even in the clearing, like I had a mental image of like them, the two of them walking in like the opposite direction of the rest of the party, going back to town, like saying, we'll just take our payment as favors to be collected at a later time. And then, running into her. But yeah, no, very much interested to see what her situation, what her deal will be.
Yay.
All right. I look forward to sharing it. Guess I better go back to listening to the Last Mohican soundtrack on a loop for the week. Well, this was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait for next week.
Indeed. Who knows? And here's a question. Will you guys try to keep any of these random people as like party members? Because that is an option, but also you gotta find a way to do it.
I mean,
Honestly, I have a hard time keeping track of them all.
it is, a bit funky having so many important characters,
I like
like
them
side
all.
characters. They're all interesting, but it's also,
Like,
I feel like
it's good to have like a
so far.
fourth, is what I think
Yeah.
is what I like. Like not all of them, but like maybe one or two, depending on what you guys think the party would need.
I mean,
Do
maybe
you
the
have
little
the heavy
gremlin,
hitters?
Mr. Green.
Yeah, I like Mr. Blue and
Do you
Mr.
have the-
Green.
Yeah.
Do you have the tank? Do you have like the support or the utility? What do you guys need? What do you have? What do you know?
I think we've definitely worked out some interactions between Kaylin, Min, and Leah, but I feel like that has comprised so far a very small portion. Like we haven't interacted, the three of us
Enough to
too
decide
much.
what we need.
Yeah.
I
Too
think we
much.
should just go on our quest and
Do our
see
thing.
who we really want to pick up.
See what
maybe.
happens.
So,
Who we
checking
might
in with
meet
them
and
later
or
on.
dragging.
Yeah.
They could definitely be fun. Who knows? Who will grow and give their strength? Who will unfortunately meet an end, or who will just simply retire and open up a shop or a restaurant?
Yeah, Mr. Brown needs to retire. I'm gonna say that. He's on crutches.
Yeah, no, if he's not doing so hot, he should probably at least take it easy until he's recovered,
Yeah.
or whatever that ends up being.
For his own well-being.
Yeah. Trying to fight in crutches is not a good idea.
No, it is not.
Generally.
All right, I'm gonna hop off because my phone's telling me I need to update, and if I don't do it now, it'll force me